happy life, better life. Thank you so much for joining me today. So I guess first I want to start with a verse. It's a scripture, and the King James Version says, "In whatsoever state I find myself, therewith to be content." And basically, to break that down in plain English, it just means wherever I find myself, whatever state I'm in, wherever I am in my journey, to learn to be content with it. And that means whatever's going on, it doesn't mean that you just settle for it, but it means that you learn how to appreciate wherever you are. And for me, that's really been coming to life in a lot of different ways. Like, for instance, I don't know how much you can tell in this video, but I definitely have gray coming in here. Now, for me, I don't know. It's like sometimes I feel annoyed by it. Other times I feel inspired by it because it means that I'm here. I'm still alive. It means I'm growing older and I'm entering a new phase essentially in my life, and I want to embrace that. And my daughter will tell me, "Mom, why don't you just dye your hair another color, or why don't you?" And when I think about that, that sounds like it could be something exciting to do, especially, at this stage in my life. And then there's another part of me that just wants to embrace it. And then I've thought about dyeing it like silver and having it, really pretty. And she's like, "Mom, you're too young for that." So, not that our children know best or anything. You have to know yourself. But I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. But for now, I am kind of content with this stage in my life. Like, I don't want to try to be younger. I just want to be a better version of myself. So that's one thing that I'm learning, to kind of accept it. And even though, the whole thing with weight, you try to lose weight, but then I can't say that we always try 100% because we can always do better. But also, I'm kind of just embracing my fullness. I'm embracing it, and I'm just like, whoever's going to be with me is just going to have to be someone who embraces it too. It's as simple as that, because I'm just in this stage of life where I kind of want to learn to be happy where I am right at this moment. So that's one thing. The other thing is, okay, so I was recently helping a friend of a friend with a project, and in the course of it, the person that I was helping, the project was a book that they were working on, and in the process of it, just different things kind of started to transpire. But then I got to a place where things felt combative to me. And it could be for so many reasons. Sometimes people are just going through stuff. Sometimes you're trying to help people with different things. And I don't know. Like I say, there could just be a lot of reasons for it. But when I felt like the energy was being really negative, for me, I just started to kind of fall back. And that's kind of where I am right at this moment. I just kind of fell back, which was sad because I was happy for the project itself. Like, I wanted to see this project come into fruition, and I really believed in the project. I really believed in this book. And but at the end of the day, I felt like sometimes people are used to certain things. Like, I don't mind banter. Like, if it's playful banter and going back and forth, I don't mind that. that can actually be fun. But when it starts to get to the point where it feels sort of like tit for tat kind of things, or you're asking a question and the person is answering very sarcastically, like, well, what do you mean, this, that, and the other. I don't do well with that. I don't. And so I began to think to myself, and I said, you know what? I know that some people are used to that. They're used to that in friendships and relationships. Some females are okay with that, with their guy or whatever talking to them a certain way. And that's just not me. It's just not me. I always say I'm a lover, not a fighter. Even though I say that in jest. Now, let me just say that does not mean that I cannot or will not, fight in a certain situation, if I have to. However, I usually will choose the road of peace, of, just holding on to my peace of mind, my sanity. I don't like arguing, because to me that's wasted energy, because most of the time people are not listening anyway. And if they're listening, they're not listening to hear you. They're not listening to understand. They're listening to respond and to rebuttal and to, win the argument. And that's just not my thing. So in the process of that, I just began to think about it. For people who thrive off of that kind of thing, it's like sometimes people confuse attention with affection. And sometimes people want attention, even if it's negative. It's just like with children, Lately I've been, through my job, I've been coming across many children who experience trauma. And so there are times when they can become triggered by different things, and they can go back and forth, and they can, now I haven't encountered that personally, but I've seen it, I've heard about it, in watching sometimes their interaction with others. But what I will say is attention is not affection. And I think most of the time we want affection. But if we feel like we can't get affection, we will settle for attention, even if it's negative attention. And so in thinking about that, I'm like, even though I think of this when it comes to young people, children, the very same thing is true with adults. And they can be 40, 50, or even 60 years old. And their way of getting or receiving love or receiving affection, if they don't feel like they're getting that, can be through seeking attention, even if it's negative attention. So, I don't know, if you're encountering people like that, I just want you to stop and pause and think for a minute before you allow yourself to get pulled into more negative energy. Try to look at it from an objective point of view and figure out what's going on. What is it that they really need from me? What is it that they really want from me that they may not even be saying right now? So it's just food for thought. And always try to come from a position of peace, and always seek more to understand than to be understood. I know we all want to be understood, but there are times when we have to sit back and allow ourselves to receive, so that we can really understand what's taking place, instead of being combative and going back and forth with people. So those are my thoughts for today. As always, I want you to live a happy life and a better life. And just let me know what you think about what I've shared today. And if you have any thoughts, especially on me dyeing my hair. So anywho, have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.